Hi everyone. A couple of days ago, a good member of the Airgun Forum, Keith by name, Keith J23 by username on the forum, asked the question, what do some of us other video makers use to record the video, and do we use a separate microphone? Well, you can probably tell I'm using a lapel microphone. I've used this for almost every video I've ever recorded. This is a simple sound recorder that I use. This is probably an antique by today's standards, but this is probably about 15-20 years old, and it still works perfectly okay. It records in MP3 or WMA format. Normally I would just put the cable inside my front and put the recorder in my pocket, but for the purpose of this video I thought I'd leave it showing. Now, what I intend to do is to demonstrate the difference between the camera you're looking at me at now and the sound recorder on the lapel. So what I'm going to do, and I'll be doing most of this in the video editor, but I can demonstrate it here. What I'm going to do is turn off this sound and let you hear what it sounds like from the camera's audio alone. So here we go. This is now the sound from just the camera you're watching me on, and you can probably tell it's a bit hollow and it's probably a bit echoey because of the surroundings I've got here. So what I'll do, I'll turn the lapel microphone back on, and this is the sound of both the camera and the lapel microphone. And what I tend to do is make a fine mix of the two so that it sounds a bit more natural, that you can hear the surroundings. But what I'll do now is turn off the camera audio and leave just the lapel microphone running. Okay, so now all you're hearing is this lapel microphone. The camera is muted, and you can tell now that it's a much more deadened sound. You don't have this echoey noise that you get from both of them or the camera alone. But I'm going to demonstrate another use for having the lapel microphone. Again, there are advantages and disadvantages, if you like, so I'll show you another one. Let's take that camera to another location. Wearing a lapel microphone is also useful if you want to record sound while you're walking away from the camera, because it's a constant sound. So I'll do that first, and then I'll do that walk again with the lapel mic turned off. So here we go. As you walk away from the camera, the actual camera sound goes quite low. You tend to get drowned out by the background noise, but using the lapel microphone, it's still pretty clear. So we'll stop that. This time I'll walk away from the camera and I'll turn the lapel microphone off. So listen to the difference. The problem is, as soon as you turn round, your voice is then lost, because the camera can't really pick you up. And a lot of the time you'll notice that sound is actually obliterated by background noise. See, I'm still here, but can you hear me? I'm going to turn the lapel mic back on and walk back towards the camera. And it's useful for things like that too. As you can tell, it's good to have the volume level of the voice the same, but you can imagine what it's like with just the camera alone. So I'll show you how I deal with this in the video editor, and I'll get back to you at the end of it. Okay, so here we are in the video editor. Up in the project media here is the first video file I recorded. That's a MTS Naught. Here is the second one where I walked up and down the garden. This frame here, or this video footage here, is the screen capture I did of Keith earlier today. This is the AGF2 logo. This is the text I insert on Keith's name, and this is the VN is what the sound recorder always calls its file names. So let's just drag and drop this first video file into a track there. So this has now got the audio on track 5, sorry, the video on track 5, my mistake, and the audio on track 6. Over here, in fact, let me just delete this a moment, take that out of there. Over here, what I've got is this section here, if it allows me to highlight it, is a piece of the video I've already made earlier of Keith. So that will be inserted into the video later. We'll click away from that for a moment. Again, let's just drag and drop this video footage into track 5. And here we have the video on track 5 and the audio on track 6. This is the audio from the voice recorder. I'm going to drag that into track 7. It doesn't really matter where, but at the moment you can probably see here that the two audios are out of sync with each other. Now, I usually start the audio recorder much sooner than the cameras, so it's no good me trying to drag this to the start of the timeline here, because I just can't drag it far enough. There's too much blank space. So the bit I don't want, I'll just take out, and I'll drag this further back, and I'm going to look as part of the track about here. And as you can see, the audio lines up about there and about here. And if I zoom into these two audio tracks, I can now drag this audio track from the voice recorder to match that of the camera. Those there, see? And that will also now align these front ones. I can always use it a little bit more precisely. I can go into this and go really finely in, but as you can see, they're pretty much well aligned, but there's nothing stopping me tweaking it that tiny little bit just to get it the same. And that's how they look in the video editor. What I do then is, as you can see here, this is the video footage. There's Keith. I can move Keith out of the way for now. And as I point up to the screen, scroll through the video footage, find out where I point up to the screen, out there. I can put the cursor at that point, and I can drag Keith from where he is here to about there. So when I play that, let's just play a little bit. My name, Keith J23, my username on. Okay, it's a little bit delayed, so let's start again. Go. A good member of the Airgun Forum, Keith, by name. So I need to bring him forward a bit. I don't know why I'm showing you this, because this has got nothing to do with the audio, but I thought you'd like to see what it takes to actually produce some of these videos. Keith. Now is a little bit too early, so we're moving along a little bit. Keith, there we go. My name. That'll do. Keith J23 by. And we'll stop that. Anyway, what I was trying to explain is we can take the start of this video footage, which I don't want, because this is me starting the camera off and walking towards the camera, and then coughing my guts up and then starting the recording. So we'll ignore that, and we can drag this audio footage to the same place. I can select everything on that timeline and drag it all back to the very start of the timeline. What I was going to demonstrate is in here, what I would do is where I want the audio to turn off, I will simply go to the bottom track. Let's just find a piece where I mention it. Where are we? For the purpose of this video, I thought I'd leave it showing. Now, what I intend to do is to demonstrate the. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll turn the lapel microphone back on. Oh, I've already turned the lapel microphone off. This is now the sound from just the camera you're watching me on. So what I can do here is just split this audio here from where I record. I can play that audio. This is now the sound from just the camera you're watching me on, and you can probably tell it's a bit hollow and it's probably a bit echoey because of the surroundings I've got here. Okay, so that finishes there. I can then split that one, and I can then virtually mute this by turning this down to 0, so you can hear the difference then between the start of that video or that audio and the end of it. So here we go. On the camera's audio alone. So here we go. This is now the sound from just the camera you're watching me on, and you can probably tell it's a bit hollow and it's probably a bit echoey because of the surroundings I've got here. So what I'll do, I'll turn the lapel microphone back on, and this is the sound of both the camera, and I'll move this along. But what I'll do now is turn off the camera audio and leave just the lapel microphone running. So from this audio I need to ungroup the audio from the video, and I can then split this audio and play it to where I want it to start. And you can tell now that it's a much more deadened sound. You don't have, and I can see it's roughly there, so I can split that audio round about there, and I can mute this one down. This may be a little bit low on volume, but now you will tell a real difference. So here we go. The camera audio and leave just the lapel microphone running. Okay, so now all you're hearing is this lapel microphone. The camera is muted, and you can tell now that it's a much more deadened sound. You don't have this echoey noise that you get from both of them or the camera alone. Well, I'm going to demonstrate another use for. Anyway, that gives you a sort of an idea of what it takes to produce audio. What I tend to do is, where I have, let's take this here, I tend to actually make a compromise between the two, and I can adjust the volume of each track to join a little bit of the camera audio to the voice recorder audio. Okay, so now all you're hearing is this. As you can tell, if I turn this up and down, the camera is muted, and you can tell now that it's a much more deadened sound. So there you go. I hope you find that interesting. So there you have it, my rundown of the benefits and disadvantages of wearing a body mic. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.